continuing from where we were last shir, with continuing the Rishonim. We're almost done with the Rishonim. Now we'll get to the Achronim that learn this concept of Bito ve'achishena, that either Ga'ula comes at the proper time, or if we do tshuva, we can speed it up. So, Rabbeinu Ovadia Bartanuro, the author of the Perush Mishnayos, he also wrote other things, including his Perush on Megillah Suris at the very beginning, where he is putting words, so to speak, in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mouth here. Ki Alai hamalacha legmor velegol loshia es Beniy. It is incumbent upon me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, the work to finish, to redeem, to save my children. Aval Ga'ula hamutales Alay hi Rachokah. The redemption that's incumbent upon me to do is far away. Ki כשאני גואל, יהיה עם ישראל יהיו רשעים, ולא יהיה בהם זכות לגאול. It is if Klal Yisrael will be evil and they don't have the merit to be redeemed. A'ase, למען, but I will do it for my own name's sake, for my sake. Yeah, as we have in the Amida. Yeah. A concept that maybe people might conceivably be aware of. Just because you say it 3 times a day. Aval yesh ga'ula axeret, but there's another way of redemption. Kרובה מהגאולה שלי, and that's closer than my redemption, God says. שהוא, שאעשה בזכות ישראל עם ישובו בתשובה. And that is the redemption that I will do in the merit of Israel if they return in tshuva. שאותה גאולה אפשר שתהיה בכל יום. That could be at any day. כמו שנאמר, as it says in Tehillim, hayom im kolos yishma'u. Today, if you listen to God's voice. He says this again later on in his commentary on Rus. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Yisrael, Be'achad mishnei panim efshar shetigael. It is possible to be redeemed in one of 2 ways. Or bishvil ma'asecha hatovim, or because of your good deeds. Or af al pi shiu ma'asecha rayim tege'el leman. Or even if you're evil, you will be redeemed for my sake. There is someone that today is almost unknown of. He lived at the same time as the Barthenora, and that's Rabbi Yochanan ben Rabbi Aaron Luria. He lived from Alsace, Lorraine, this little piece of land that keeps on going back and forth between Germany and France. He was a well-known posek and darshan in the Alsace-Lorraine region toward the end of the period of the Rishonim. And he wrote, Ne'amar bi'ita achishena, in its time I will be quick. Zachu achishena, if they have merit, I will redeem them quickly. Lo zachu bi'itam, if not, it's in their time. Im ken shaminan kasheagia ha'es afilu lo zachu niye geulim. And we learn from here that even if when the time arrives, even if Klal Yisrael doesn't have the merit for it, they will be redeemed in any case. This is basically a complete list of the Rishonim, except for one that we'll get to later, about that it doesn't matter whether Klal Yisrael has the merit, does tshuva or not, eventually they'll be redeemed either way if they don't, before the final time, do tshuva.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right. Well, that's the summary of the Ani Mamin, right? Ani Mamin b'yavam Yisraelim v'yaseh Mashiach, afal pi sheyas Mamin, and so on. Mashiach's coming, just don't know when. Mm-hmm. So, going on to the Achronim, Rav Ovadia Seforno, in his commentary on Tehillim, Zeh mizmor tefila b'lashem b'nei kibbutz Galio, she's al hateshua. This Tehillim, it's Kuf Beis, is a prayer of the people of the generation of the redemption that they're davening on their salvation. Ata takum tirachem, that you, God, should get up and have compassion on us. Afal pishena dor zakai, even though the generation doesn't have the merit. Kiva moed, because the time has come. Ru'ui lizeh, therefore we're fit for it. Kiratzu avadecha es avaneha, because your servants desire your stones. When the tzaddikim entered Eretz Yisrael, they would roll in the dust in the stones of Eretz Yisrael. Al hepech dor hamidbar shemasuba, as opposed to the generation of the flood that did not desire Eretz Yisrael, that found Eretz Yisrael disgusting. They wanted to stay outside of it, wanted to go back to Egypt. As opposed to the generation, the final redemption will be ones that want to go to Eretz Yisrael, even if it is difficult for them. The Alshich also has this idea in his commentary on Chumash. The Alshich is, of course, Alshich HaKodesh, one of the four of our rabbis that we refer to as a Kadosh. Al yalei al ruchacha shelo yeh lehem tkuma. Don't let it appear on your spirit that they will not raise up, they will not be saved. Chalila, God forbid. Ki halo gam sheyeshman katsuv shu ke'es haketz. There is the set time, the final time. Im kol zeh, im zachu achishena. Nonetheless, if they have merit, it will come faster. Meaning, he also is saying there's a set time, and if not at the set time, if you do tshuva before that, it can come much earlier, much faster. Going back to the Maharal that we have already seen in Netzach Yisrael, Mikomakom, Kaimelan ki Rabbi Yoshua, in any case, we paskin like Rabbi Yoshua, that Ka'amar, that he said, Af im ein osin tshuva nigalin, even if they don't do tshuva, they're redeemed. Da shatik Rabbi Lezer b'maskana, because Rabbi Lezer in the end was quiet and agreed to the opinion of Rabbi Yoshua. And also Rabbi Chaim Vital. Rabbi Chaim Vital, of course, is the one that transferred to us, who recorded the writings of the Arizal. The Arizal wrote some songs that are sung on Shabbos in Aramaic. And other than that, we have basically nothing for him other than what his Talmidim, and the Talmid that gave us the most of the Ari's ideas and writings was Rabbi Chaim Vital. In Eitz Hadas Tov, Parshas Yetze, he says, U'b'tashlum ketz halichasam b'galus ha'acharon, in the end of time of their walking through this final exile, akabetz gulasem vashivosicha el hadamahazos, I will gather your exiles and return you to this land. V'gam tirei orcha hagadol, and you will also see his great light, shel galus edom, of the, v'gam tirei orech hagadol shel galus edom, even though you see the great length of the time of Edom, it seems to be lasting forever. Al tityaesh minagula, you should not give up on the fact of redemption. Umuftach ata, and you are guaranteed, ki lo ezovcha, that he will not abandon you. Af al pi shelo ye zarecha ru'uyim v'tzadikim, even though your seed is not fit and tzadikim, righteous people. Val yadei ziyeh min hadin la'ozchem v'galus, and because you're not fit and tzaddik and righteous people, it is fitting to leave you in galus forever. Lo azovcha ad asheri masisi asher dibarti lach, I will not abandon you until I've done what I have said I will do to you. Kamosha Kesuva says, Bita achishena, in its time I will make it quick. Quick. Zachu achishena, if they have merit, I will bring the redemption immediately. Lo zachu, if they don't, Bita, then it will be in its time. The Marsha, I'm going to go through these relatively quickly without much explanation because they're all saying essentially the same thing. The Marsha says, Gedola tshuva shemakareves asagula, greatest tshuva because it brings near the redemption. Devada yesh zman legaula, there's clearly a time for the redemption. Aval tshuva makareves lavo kodem zmana, but tshuva can bring it closer before its time. Kamosha amru, as we say, be'ita achishena, in its time it will make it quick. Lo zachu be'ita, if you do not have the zechus of tshuva of Klal Yisrael, it will be in its time. Zachu, if you have the zechus of tshuva, achishena, I'll make it quick. The shla, this is another one of these that we refer to as shla HaKadosh, was a contemporary of the Marsha.
Who's the fourth one? Rachayim, Hamizal, Shlah, and the fourth, HaKadosh.
Al-Sheikh. So, Midaber be'inyan Mashiach, when we're talking about Mashiach, Asherenu v'lo karov. I see him, but it is not close. This is part of Bilam's bracha, klala, however you want to look at it for Klal Yisrael. Kolomar, what does this mean? Yesh esh kavua l'biyoso. There is a set time for his coming. Aval im zachu yimarenu v'yachishenu biyoso. But if you have the zechus, I will work very quickly to bring him. Kamosha namar ani Hashem b'ita achishena. I am God. In his time I will bring it. And our rabbi said, Lo zachu b'ita, zachu achishena. That if they don't have a merit, it'll come in its time. The redemption will come when it's set from the creation of the world. If not, if you have a zechus, then achishena, I'll bring it quickly. Alzei amar ashureno, I see it. Tekef miyad shiasu tshuva v'yu zochim. It will be immediate if you do tshuva. Right? That's what the Imam says. As soon as you do tshuva, instantly, Ga'ula comes. Vim eno, but if you fail to do tshuva, lo karov, then it's not close. It's going to be a long time from now. Rak ad eis ketz hakibutz v'akol tului b'tshuva. It will be at the eis hakavua, it will be at the set time, and everything is dependent upon tshuva. So too, in the Me'am Lo'ez, very famous commentary written in Ladino, translated into Hebrew, and then translated into English. I believe the translation into English was done from the original Ladino. The Kevan Sheyesh Shnei Itim Legula. So the Me'am Lo'ez writes, there are two set times for redemption: B'ita v'achishena. One is called B'ita in its time, and the other is v'achishena, and quickly. Omer shenizkei lekach shiyu lanu harbe zechuyos kadei shegula tavo maher. We should have the merit of having many merits, so that the redemption will come quickly. Umatnas chen, and we should be given grace al pi zechuyosenu, because of our merits. V'lo matnas chinam, and it shouldn't be a gift of God. Shekavar yavo hamoed hakatsuv, that it will be.
Edition,
What?
I think what you're reading is not in the edition I have.
Oh, very interesting.
Okay.
That when the fixed time comes, that's because you didn't draw it near. Rabbi Yonasan Eivshitz, Yaros Dvash, he was in the same generation as the Vilna Gaon. He wrote, "V'hinei la'ati lavo amrin in Gemara, the Gemara. In the future to come, we say in the Gemara, lo zachu be'ita. If they don't have a merit, it will be in its time. Zachu achishena. If they do have merit, if they have the merit of tshuva, it will come quickly. V'kehena yoser b'Gemara, and it's like this more in the Gemara. Demore de Ga'ula tiye al shnei ofanim. That redemption can come in one of two ways. Or Shia Yisrael b'tachli satov, Israel will be at the ultimate of good. Or Shia kedei lekayim haftachaso, or because Hashem has to fulfill his promise, his guarantee, ki lo yitosh Hashem amo, that God will not abandon his people. Now we get to the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, right? Who was a contemporary of Rabbi Yonasan Eibshitz. Vim lo matza yado de heshiv lo. He's talking about the pasuk in Vayikra. The pasuk in Vayikra is, and if he does not find enough to return him. Vaya mimkaro biyad hakone oso ad shnasi yovel. He will be in the hand of the one that acquires him until the Jubilee year that we're learning about the Hebrew slave. V'yatza yovel, and he will go out in the Yovel. V'shav le'chuzaso, and he will return to his inheritance. So, what does the Orach Chaim say about this? Ve'im lo matzah yado de heshiv lo, if he cannot find enough to redeem himself, perish. What does this mean? Im yirei ha'adon, ki ein koach ba'am lispol chavalim od, if the master sees that there is no strength in the people to endure more suffering, v'rabu chovosehem lemala rosh ve'efes behem koach hasevel, and their demerits are way through the sky, right? But it's impossible for them to endure any more exile. Mimkaro ad shnasi yovel. Then he will be sold until the Jubilee year. Shuzman hamugbal lega'ula bi'ita. This is the set time for the redemption from the exile. Vaz yitza yovel v'shaz lechuzaso. Then he will go out in the Jubilee, that is the time of the set time for redemption, and return to his inheritance, that is Eretz Yisrael. Tiketz hagalus yeshno afilu yu Yisrael rasha'im gemurim chas v'shalom. Because the final time of the redemption, the end of the galus, is even if Klal Yisrael will be rasha'im gemurim, God forbid, complete and total evil people. The Ramchal from Italy also has the same idea in his Sefer Das Tfunos. Zos nechemtanu be'enenu. This is our consolation. Kilo amasenu yifkod v'lo lezuchtenu yamtin, because it is not on our deeds that we will be remembered, and it is not on our merits that we wait. Or michesron ma'asim yachlifenu, or because of our lack of deeds we will be exchanged, chas v'shalom, God forbid. Because it is from the oath that God swore to our forefathers, the abris asher karas, and the covenant that He made with them. Even if there is no merit in Klal Yisrael, when the set time comes, nastem bilibo, they will flee in their hearts. Hine al kol panim yoshienu vadai. But in any case, He will save us at that time. Ki adon kolhu, because He is the Lord of everything. V'yachol asos ken kashehu rotzei. He can do this when He wants. The Vilna Gaon also wrote similarly. B'chol dor yesh ketzim. In every generation there are end times. Lefi inyan hatshuva ve'azachuyos miyuchadim lo sador, according to the good deeds, the merits, and the tshuva of that generation. Aval ketz acharon lo talya b'tshuva ela b'chesed. The final time for redemption is not dependent upon our tshuva, but on the chesed of Hashem. The Malbim, in his Perush Tzitzafanya, says a similar thing. When the final time comes that is not dependent upon our deeds at all, and this will be for eternity. That is to say, once the Hashem starts the Geula, once He does the final Geula, it is eternal. Shaloye acharav galosot. There will never be another galus after it. Rabbi Avram Shmuel Ben Yamin Sofer, the son of the Chassam Sofer, the grandson of Rabbi Akiva Eger, is writing a tshuva to his son, and he also deals there with the concept of be'ita achishena. He brings the pasuk. Hanisteros laHashem Elokeinu v'niglos lanu levanenu ad olam lasos es kol divrei haTorah hazos, which we read this week in the Torah. or we will read on this coming Shabbos, what is hidden is to the Lord our God. What is revealed is to us and our children forever, to do this whole Torah. So there's a connection between this pasuk that deals with the sins and the punishment of Klal Yisrael and their merits. So the Chassam Sofer the Ksav Sofer writes about it. Ksav bi'ita achi shena, that if in its time it will be quickly. Zachu achi shena, if they have merit, the redemption will come quickly. Lo zachu bi'ita, if they don't have merit, it comes in its time. Kismana galus chasum v'sasum. The time of galus is fixed, sealed, and hidden from us. Ve'afilu Moshe Rabbeinu alav hashalom, even Moshe Rabbeinu, asher ba b'sod Hashem, that he, more than any other human being, was knowing of the secrets of Hashem. Lo yadai l'metai kates pilaos bilti Hashem levado yadua. That when this final miraculous redemption would come, he did not know. It was only known to God. Aval yesh davar nigla shekol echad yodea. But there is something that everyone does know. Gedolim v'ketanim, whether they be great or not so great, smaller. V'hu hayom im b'ka'olo sishma, and that is that the redemption can come today if we listen to God's voice. Ukasiv, as it says, v'yashivosa elavevecha v'shavta, and you will return to your heart, you will return to the essence of who you are, and he will return you. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu said about those things that are hidden. We will be thrown out and scattered among the world like this day. When does this? We don't know. The hidden things are to the Lord our God. This is the set time for the redemption beyond which it cannot be delayed. Ain't no yadua afilu lo. This wasn't even known to Moshe Rabbeinu. Rak l'Hashem Elokeinu hu. This is only to Hashem our God. V'aniglos, what is revealed? Shabo hu davar hanigla kolkach. What is it known to us? Lanu v'afilu l'bnenu, to us and our children. Mahu lasos is called divrei haTorah. We understand. We know that we have to fulfill this entire Torah.
Hanisteros is the Ephah, Haniglos is Achishena.
No,
Isn't it?
Haniglos, he's saying, is that we have to do the Torah.
Right. So
What's known to us, we have to do the Torah. Worrying about when and how God is going to redeem us, that's not for us to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
That's Nisteros Lashon. What we have to know is Asos is called Divrei Torah. Yeah, but if we do tshuva, that will bring it. But that's not our calculation. We're not supposed to make calculation like that. He says, all we're supposed to worry about is fulfilling the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
We will finish with the Achronim, with Rabbi Shlomo Eliashiv. He was one of the greatest Mekubalim of his generation. He and Rav Kook had a Chavrusa in Kabbalah, and he was the grandfather of Rav Yosef Shalom Eliashiv. He wrote in his Sefer Leshem Shavo Va'och Lama, Omnam hatikva ha'atida dekol chemdas Yisrael. But the hope, the future hope of all of his beloved of Israel, Shem kol hiyudim ha'achronim b'yamos ha'mashiach v'chaye olam ba, that all the final destiny and the days of Mashiach and the world to come, note the world to come and the days of Mashiach, he says, are two different things. Hinei hem teluyim be'emes rak b'bris v'lo b'zechus. They are dependent only upon the covenant with God and not on our merit. V'bris avos v'Yisrael, and this is the covenant of the forefathers with Klal Yisrael and Israel with God. V'abris lo tufar l'olam, and this covenant will never be undone. Vari lanu mikol ze ki ha'geula hatida eino tluya b'zechus u'b'masim klal. So we see the future redemption is not dependent whatsoever on our zechus or our deeds. There is a relatively short section that I want to do with this, and there is one very important Rishon that we have not touched on, and that's the Rambam. And he, on the face of it, has a different pshat than all the other Rishonim. He's literally the only Rishon that wrote on this that has a different opinion than everything we've seen.
Meaning what? That
Well,
it is dependent on Tshuva?
Let's see what the Rambam says first, and then let's see how people understand it. So, Kol HaNevi'im Kulan Savu Ala Tshuva. All of the prophets commanded Klal Yisrael to do tshuva. Vein Yisrael Nigalim Ela B'tshuva, and Israel would not be redeemed except through tshuva. V'kavar hivticha Torah shesof Yisrael l'sos tshuva. V'sof galusan, and the Torah has guaranteed us that Klal Yisrael will do tshuva at the end of their exile. Umiyad hen nigalim, and as soon as they do tshuva, they will be redeemed. Shnamar, as it says, Vaya ki yavo elecha kol hadvarim. And when all of these things, we're talking about the curse that we just read last week, have come, the curse in Kisavo, V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha, and you will return to the Lord your God, V'shav Hashem Elokecha, and God will return you. So it seems that the Rambam is asking like Rabbi Eliezer in the Gemara, Ve'en Yisraelim Galim El B'tshuva, even though we've learned all these things that in the end he's quiet. The Hemshech of the Gemara with Rabbi Abba follows Rabbi Yoshua, not Rabbi Eliezer. So what's happening with Rambam?
You're saying it's dependent on Tshuva, but it doesn't hasten it. That you
Klal Yisrael
will
the end will only come when Klal Yisrael does tshuva. That's apparently what the Rambam is saying. Now, the Rav Yosef Karo is most famous for his commentary on the Torah, maybe, and certainly for the Shulchan Aruch. Most people don't know, or many people don't know, that he wrote a commentary on half of the Rambam, and he gave up because what he wanted to do, he couldn't do from this. He wanted to write a Sefer Halacha, but it didn't work because he was only dealing with the opinion of the Rambam. We should all have such failures that 500 years later people are still reading our failures and studying them. But the Kesef Mishnah of Rav Yosef Karo says on this Rambam, Vein Yisrael Nigalim Ela B'tshuva. Klal Yisrael is not redeemed except by tshuva. The Perek Yom Kippurim, it says Gedola Tshuva Shemekareves Esagula. What are you talking about? It says great is tshuva that draws near the Geula, right? It's not. It's the only way, right? But it draws near, not that it causes. So what the Beis Yosef is saying is, he's saying the Rambam agrees with everyone else. Tshuva will shorten the time. The more we do tshuva, the more it shortens the time until the final redemption we'll have. We have the guarantee that this will happen. Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai, in his writings, wrote on the Rambam, Ve'atshuva klali sazos, and this general tshuva, tzavu aleha ola nevim, all the nevim talked about, kamoshe kasu verbenu v'hilchos tshuva, perek zayin, like the Rambam wrote in Hilchos Tshuva, perek zayin, kol nevim tzavu ala tshuva ve'en Yisrael nigalim ela b'tshuva, that all the prophets commanded us through tshuva, and Israel will not be redeemed except by tshuva. Retzona lomar tshuva klalis. This is the general tshuva, yeshuvu Yisrael le'eretz hakadosha. That this is when Klal Yisrael returns to the Holy Land. It's not talking about the return to Torah and mitzvos, he's saying. It's that, as the Gemara said, Rabbi Eliezer said, don't do tshuva. He's going to give you a king that's so tough. You're going to have to return to Eretz Yisrael. You won't be able to continue to live any longer in Gullus.
It ties in almost
And-
with 3 Shavuos and
Yes, it all ties together. There's nothing.
no loose ends.
The entire Torah is one complete thing. The Rivash in the Tshuva talks about the Talmidim of Rabbeinu Tam, how great they were as compared to us. And one of the things he says about them is they worked with Shas like a child plays with a ball. Right? So, the complete control that they had over it. So all of these things were all working together. But this is the Beis Yosef and Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai's understanding of the Rambam, because it's very rare where we have a machlokas rishonim where there is only one rishon on one side and everyone else is on the other side. Also, you would expect if the other rishonim were disagreeing with the Rambam that they would quote him. They must have been understanding the Rambam as the Beis Yosef, that this is not a disagreement with everything that we've seen that all of the other Rishonim.
So the Rambam called Eino Misyaches Kan LaMachloket of Eliezer Yeshua and Einka Mashamim the Soka Rabbi Eliezer Ella Lomar.
Right. He's not dealing with that. He's not dealing with that. Next time we will look at the Ramban, who has a different angle of approach to our Sigda. And everyone should have a wonderful day.